Yeah.
Here's a guy who we weren't sure if he was going to be here, Max.
Yeah.
He has some travel woes, but I'm glad to see he was able to make it. That is Vinnie representing Hive Gaming.
And this is a little bittersweet because Vinnie, a long time ago, was actually the best Brawl
Gamer Watch, yeah, man.
and by like such a ridiculous margin.
Oh,
too.
it wasn't even close, bro. He just set the standard.
So originally I had 2 planes to get to EVO. The second one ended up getting canceled, so I was kind of stranded in North Carolina. So I waited on the customer service line for 3 hours at like 3 in the morning. They said that I had to stay in North Carolina for 22 hours, but I knew like there had to be another solution. So eventually they came up with an idea where I could take 3 planes overnight, jumping from state to state, and it was cutting it really close. I almost missed my EVO pool, which started at noon, but I arrived at 12:05 at the venue. After 27 hours of travel, I ended up arriving the moment that EVO started for me. So I got extremely lucky in that way. I ended up getting a couple hours of sleep here and there in my travels, but I was basically dead and slightly nervous that I wouldn't win my EVO pool because of how dead I was, but I ended up coming out on top. So seed 2 in my pool was a Cloud player from New England called XIVII or something like that. And I've heard he was pretty good, like ranked in New England, but Cloud is like my best matchup, so I wasn't really worried. He ended up getting upsetted, but in my final match of winners finals, I played a Corrin player instead, and he was pretty solid and took a game off me, but I managed to win the set 2-1. So for my round 2 pool, I ended up showing up really early. I woke up really early because of my sleep schedule, so I was just already up. I got breakfast and I started practicing around like 9:30 at the venue. Even though my pool started at 2 p.m., I just really wanted to train and make sure I was ready for my round 2 pool. So for my round 2 pool, I had 2 players in my winners bracket. AC, which is one of the best Meta Knight players in the world, and Mistake, which is one of the best players in the world, but arguably the best Bayonetta player. So I ended up practicing with my friend Tyrant, who also happens to be one of the best Meta Knight players in the world. Lately, I haven't had the best record in that matchup, but he helped me get my bearings in it, gave me advice, and I was able to take a pretty close set against AC 2-0. Meta Knight is one of those characters that I don't really have the greatest practice against. All of the greatest Meta Knights basically live on the West Coast, so it's kind of hard to prepare for it. In my recent sets against the best Meta Knight players in the world, I haven't really had much success. They've usually come out on top, barely. So it meant a lot for me to be able to win that set because it proved a lot to myself that I could overcome things that I might not have won in the past. Bayonetta was more of a challenge for me to practice against because the Bayonetta players don't typically like preparing other people against Bayonetta because they're all friends with each other. But I was able to play against Abadongo, one of the best players from Japan. He's typically a Mewtwo player, but he allowed me to practice against his Bayonetta in order to practice for Mistake. And it really helped me prepare for Mistake in the second round. Beating AC didn't make me comfortable, but it made me more confident in my play. Mainly because AC and Mistake have both beaten me in the last times that we played. Mistake beat me in a really close set 3-1 at Glitch in May. And he's also just one of the best players in the world, so I really wanted to beat him because that would just give me a lot of momentum in the winners bracket at EVO. So in the first set against Mistake, I was having a lot of trouble because he started out the game air camping me, and Sheik's aerials are not positive on hit at 0%. So I wasn't really sure what to do because if I jumped up and hit him, he would hit me back for more. So I really wanted to just stay on the ground and wait for him to come down. But he was being really patient and would not give in. So game 1, I had a lot of issues approaching because he was making it really difficult for me to do that.
The game though belonged to Mistake.
Yeah, but that was such great MCI right there from Vinnie. Still managing to find his way out of there after 2 ABKs. But wait a second. Okay, doesn't even need the second with twist. Goes for an up air after 2 ABKs, and there you have it, dude.
Game 2, I counterpicked him to Smashville because it kind of took his ability to camp in the air away and make him be a little bit more honest.
All right. Yeah, so going into this next game, I think we're going to see a flat stage, and of course it's going to be Smashville. I don't think any part of Vinnie wanted to go back to Lilat. Bayonetta really thrives there due to the angle of the stage and her bullet climax neutral B.
I feel like I had a good control over the match in Game 2 on my counterpick, but he had a really early kill on me with a witch time at 65%. I really tried to avoid it as best as I can, but sometimes you just have to swing. You know, you need to attack in order to win at some point. So he got a good read on my attack, which timed me. But then I had a lot of good momentum after that. I felt like I was going to take that game, but unfortunately, I didn't have the best SDI on his aerial combo, and he shotgunned me into the boundary with his up B at like a really low percent. I feel like it was at 60%. Didn't feel too great, and it kind of hurt my morale, but I tried to let it not hurt my morale because I know he's one of the best players in the world. So usually after I lose, I like to try to take a breather to myself, but also I was just trying to find a TO, and I really couldn't. I was walking in circles for like 15 minutes trying to figure out what to do next. Usually I have someone coming up to me telling me what I'm playing next, but I just felt like a lost boy in the woods. Like I had no idea like where the TOs were. But regardless, I had to find out whether I was going to play anti on stream or off stream. They said it was going to be off stream, so I picked a TV, which was kind of near the TOs, which I kind of regret because one of the TOs actually got right in front of my match, in front of my TV, so I couldn't see the game. And I feel like that really took me out of the game, unfortunately, because I had to ask him to move out of my way and inform him that this was a tournament match. So I did feel like that was really unprofessional by him. However, I do feel like Anti played great, and I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's one of my buddies from the brawl scene, and I wanted to see him go far. So it doesn't sting too bad losing to one of my friends, but obviously I wanted to go all the way, so it was pretty disappointing. I feel like Smash is like a language in a way, so you can't really multitask with it and play Smash well at the same time. So when I was physically talking to the guy, asking him to get out of my way and informing him that it was a tournament match, that kind of took me out of the game because I feel like Smash is one language and English is another language. So when you're talking to someone, and it goes for not just Smash, but other games. If you're talking to someone, it's difficult to play the game well. It kind of takes you out of the game and breaks your focus. I feel like I've accomplished a lot in Smash 4, but I really want to like top 8 a super major, or even win one. As far as Ultimate, I just want to put myself in a really good position to live in like a Smasher house. Earlier on in the Smash 4 days, I would live in a Smasher house, or a gaming house with Sky Williams, Tyrant, Void, Zero, Mr. R, and a couple other players. And I found myself to be really strong during those times because I was constantly surrounding myself with people that were like-minded and would play with me hours a day and wanted the same goals. So my play in general was a lot cleaner back then because I would just wake up, play, go to sleep, wake up, play, go to a local tournament, go to sleep. And eventually I just became a robot from that. So I would like to put myself in that situation or position again when Smash 5 comes out because I feel like it would give me a lot of momentum. When Smash 4 came out, I was going to school and working, and a lot of other people got a little bit of a head start past me. But this time I don't want to make the same mistake, and I want to completely immerse myself in it so that way I can become one of the best players right off the bat.